We're smoky.
All right. Are we good?
Boy.
We are live.
Oh shit. Well, let me restart the recording and let's do it.
We're smoky.
Well, now my thing's not working. Hold on.
Hear us this time.
Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, it's live, pal.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Everybody three, count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Or maybe The Rock has got to beat Triple H himself, which means he's got to beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 for a wife.
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
Oh my goodness, what do we do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh, wow.
Well, you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass.
Welcome everyone, 3 Count Thursday. It is Thursday night, February the 4th, 2021. We're the podcast of the millennium, and I think we're good now. Scotty says watching us on mute for 13 minutes was better than the wedding angle on AEW last night. You're probably not wrong.
Not lying.
3countthursday.com, all of our social media, merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Our home network, NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We stream daily at Leaf Sports.
LEEIBsports.com.
Thank you, Tim.
Shane McMahon. Let's just get it all out of the fucking way.
The best in the world!
Yeah.
Not the tool man across all categories, but
Yep.
So if I don't know at what point you did or didn't hear us on the first attempt of a broadcast, but this Monday on our merchandise page over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. We will be launching the brand new
I'm a sausage guy.
line of merchandise, t-shirts, sweatshirts, women's shirts, kids shirts, baby onesies, the whole line.
Babies can't even eat pizza.
I mean, at a certain age they can, right? I don't know.
They're not wearing onesies.
I don't have kids, but there it is.
My daughter eats pizza and still wears onesies.
There you go.
I don't have kids then. I don't know how any of this works apparently.
So there it is.
What topping does your baby like on her pizza?
Plain cheese.
Unbelievable.
Well, apparently she would have gotten no, she wouldn't have gotten the answer right for Ryan on the Charlie, get that crap out of our comments. Yeah, Tim definitely not having it tonight. So yeah, let's start with Tim. Tim,
How you doing?
You know what, man? I'm doing good. I'm fine. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning. We're working on some stuff. Whether or not you believe me, we're working on stuff behind the scenes, but I'm good. I'm glad tomorrow's Friday. For daggone sure. I don't know if I can speak for the rest of these gentlemen, but why can't the Royal Rumble be like every weekend until we get to WrestleMania? That's where I'm at right now.
I mean, if it's always as good as it was last weekend, I'd be okay with it. Ryan,
How you doing?
I can go now, right?
yes,
It's not going to jump. Okay. Tim ruined that for everybody, right? Not me this time.
you know,
Got it. I'm so good.
great. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for the weekend. I already finished my diet green tea in the last recording, but I'm good.
Sorry, it happens. Right, I thought you were done, Ryan. I just wanted to make sure you didn't cough, sneeze, anything. Intern Mark.
How you doing?
Boy, I'm doing real good. Real good. I survived that snowstorm of the year.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, boys. And Ryan, you being a sausage guy, I just thought of this, but aren't sausages little smokies or little smoky sausages? That should not be a surprise to any of us.
I think I know what next t-shirt I have to make. Get ready for in the style of the Little Smokies logo.
Yes,
Little smokies.
I love it. Our entire all our merchandise, everything is just going to be Ryan based.
Pretty much.
I didn't even know Little Smokies had a logo.
They do.
Do they really?
They got to.
I've not seen a package of Little Smokies in years.
Why do you usually just eat the whole thing at once?
Right, that's what I do.
Plastic and all.
Spell Little Smokies.
LIL, right?
SMOKI.
LIT' Smokies.
Little smokies.
Oh, don't know if I love that.
So it'll be in the style of the Hillshire Farms logo.
I like it. I like that idea.
I'll figure it out.
I think I'm doing better than Tim tonight.
So how are you doing though, Big Jim?
Besides, I pulled something in my back standing up yesterday, because you would have figured it would have happened during like the 2 days of shoveling. Nope. I stood up out of my chair last night.
Maybe you were just so out of shape that it took that long for your body to reject shoveling and actually throw pain.
Kobe.
I think you're right. I think that's.
I invested in a snow blower this year, so it took me 15 minutes to do my driveway. I didn't even break a sweat this time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute you.
I love it.
You muted it.
Shut the.
Matt, does your snowblower have the heated hand grips? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
He said yes.
At some point, I will be getting a snowblower. I will probably have to have a job before I can do that. But
weren't we on the pre-show? Isn't that what you called your wife?
No, God, no! Don't start that rumor. Don't start that.
Must have misheard.
No.
You called her a snowblower.
No. The fake news.
She barely watches wrestling. There's no way she listens to the podcast.
That's true. That is true. I know she does not listen to this show, but still did not say that. But let's hit our weekly segment. We're looking, of course, at February 4th in wrestling history. I didn't even. Why is my Alexa just started playing music? Alexa, stop.
It's a big Alter Bridge fan,
Alexa,
probably.
Bad.
Did I even say the name?
Alexa, bad.
I don't think.
Did it catch it on this day and assume that's what it was? No.
But that's through my headphones.
That's
only
fair.
Singularity.
It's probably the ghost downstairs.
Probably is.
Studio L.
Probably is. What the hell? Okay. Lawrence Taylor, born today, February 4th, 1959. Chris Sabin.
Bad place.
Yikes. Of course, I mean, he main evented a WrestleMania. We are wrestling.
She's only 17.
And Chris Sabin in 1982.
I
Okay.
feel like we could have just gone with Chris Sabin and
You could have really.
Hey, it's on the site. I pulled. I look. Let's move on. 1991, Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler defeat the Fabulous Ones, Steve Kieran and Stan Lane, in Memphis, Tennessee, to win the USWA Tag Team titles. This was a rematch from the previous week in Memphis when the teams went to a draw. 1995, ECW held their double table supercard event at the ECW Arena in Philly in front of 1,000 fans. Show featured 8 matches, main evented by Sabu and the Tasmaniac, defeating Public Enemy in a double tables match for the ECW World Tag Team Championship. 2001, the WWF Hardcore title goes from Raven to Kate Quick to Crash Holly at a house show in Columbia, South Carolina, before going back to Raven. This began their second, 14th, and 4th respective reigns. 2005, WWE taped the 611th episode of Monday Night Raw at the Super Arena in Japan. 16,657 fans attended the show, which got a 3.7 rating on Spike TV. The 336th edition of Sunday Night Heat, which aired on February 13th, was taped there as well. The main event of Raw saw World Heavyweight Champion Triple H pin Edge with a pedigree after Batista interfered and gave Edge a spine buster for Triple H to retain the title. And then finally, in 2016, Axl Rotten passed away at the age of 44 in Baltimore, Maryland. Those were the things that happened February 4th in pro wrestling history.
It's a little known fact that was I echo in there? What's going on?
Briefly.
Is that what it okay? Maybe I just had I don't know, stroke. I don't know what it was. Bret Hart. Little known fact that Batista spine buster is actually what started all of Edge's next problems. It was all downhill from there. Yeah, you can look it up.
I did not know that.
I feel like that's wrong.
Very true.
According to,
I read it. It was in the red words.
Oh Jesus!
You know it's real then.
I think it was in Edge's book as well.
It was in Edge's book.
No, I don't remember.
Wait, does Edge have a book?
Sounded good.
Edge's book was written when he came back from injury before Batista even existed.
Maybe it was in Christian's book.
That was in 2000. I don't think Christian has a book.
He should.
He should. You guys are killing me.
Another little known is intern Mark is actually helping Christian write his book, and that is going to be in that book. I think that's what
Yeah, that's what he meant.
Speaking of Edge and Christian, the Royal Rumble was this past Sunday. Let's see. Scotty says, was that on Ringside News? Maybe it was. That's another quality place of journalism. But
It was on one of the Dark Side episodes, Dark Side of the Ring. I saw it.
Did you see?
I know I did.
Oh my God. Of course, Ryan and I gave our full long view recap of the Royal Rumble on Tuesday. You can check that out in the archives.
Yeah, super long view. It was like an hour and 20 minutes. Don't watch it.
It was an hour and a half.
So long.
It was very long. But obviously Matt, Tim, Mark, you guys weren't able to join us on Tuesday. So let's talk about the Royal Rumble. Does either of you guys, is there a match, moment, what have you? I know Tim, you have another show that you went a little long form about. You can plug that. Maybe go ahead and plug that one. Give a couple of thoughts, and then we'll go to Matt and Mark.
Certainly. So if you guys didn't hear, Viewer's Choice is another podcast that I do apart from these lovely gentlemen. Drops on the Monday morning of every major pay-per-view. Our first formal episode was the Royal Rumble 2021, and by golly, this was a banger of bangers.
Good start.
With the exception of Sasha and with the exception of Sasha and Carmella, which was not very good, unfortunately. I think that this pay-per-view was great. They gave us exactly what we wanted, or at least didn't give us something we didn't want. It was all in all, it was fun all the way around. Kevin Owens is a bump god. Bianca Belair is the next in line. Edge is doing the D thing. Even the pre-show was actually really good. Actually watched the pre-show as well. But if this is the start of what 2021 has to offer, then we're in for a fantastic year of WWE pay-per-views.
I agree. Matt, your thoughts on the show?
Yeah, I thought from start to finish, it was a good one. I will say, it's tough to have a match that be good if Carmella's in it, but Sasha did her damnedest. So we'll just leave that as that. Tip of the cap to Alicia Fox being on the 24/7 title list. Do love me some Alicia.
What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
The Owens Reigns match was fantastic. Loved every single thing about that match, even including the ref just randomly stopping his count in the middle of it then to restart, all part of the quirky fun of wrestling. And then, I'm satisfied with both finishes. Edge wouldn't have been my first choice, but I liked the swerve. I liked the way that one turned out. Really glad that we didn't see a Goldberg title win, because my God, when he hit that first spear and then the jackhammer, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But
second worst jackhammer of all time.
Yeesh, that was bad. I mean, we said we didn't think he could get Drew McIntyre up, and I mean, kudos to him. He sure tried. But
well, especially after making the long run in from center field, spearing a guy through the barricade. I mean, he put in a good 3.5 minutes of work before he tried lifting a man. So, you gotta.
Yeah, it was something. But I like the storylines. I like where we're going here with both Rumble winners. More on that later, obviously. But yeah, good show. I'll give it an A-, since I know Jim already has like 7 pluses behind his grade, I assume.
I think we actually start off with like a S, like it's a tier above A,
like super
superior. Like this is like I have a 100 in the class and the teacher provided extra credit, so I'm gonna get 25 extra points of credit. So I ended the show at 125 of 100 points, and therefore I win. You mentioned that Sasha tried her best. Was that on the catch too?
You do what you can.
Yeah, which is nothing. Okay, go ahead. Nice. Thank you.
Oof. I should have my grade for this show was also an A-.
Oh, look at you guys. Then Matt, would you like to retroactively drop
like
yours
to
a whole letter
reassess
grade?
Give me another minus. Like it's like a 90.0001. Like just barely gets on that A- cusp.
Intern Mark, your thoughts on the 2021 Royal Rumble?
Well, boys, I enjoyed it a lot. The Goldberg match I could have done without, but it was okay for a Goldberg match. And Sasha and Carmella wasn't my favorite match, but it was okay. And I'm glad Carmella was not seriously injured with that dive outside the ring. I watched the pre-show too. That wasn't so bad. And the Women's Royal Rumble was great. I really enjoyed that. It was nice to see Jillian Hall come back. And the Men's Royal Rumble was really good. It was great to see Christian back in the ring. I never thought we'd see that again. And, of course, Carlito was there. And then you had Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Fantastic match. So, overall, I'm going to give it a solid A. And I'm sorry if that upsets anybody.
No, by all means.
Last thing I would do is upset anyone.
Lavish praise on WWE. You're not going to get stopped in this house. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said on Tuesday, the SmackDown Women's Championship was there. I think when you look at it, you had the WWE Championship, you had the Universal title, you had the Raw Women's Champion was part of the the pre-show match with the women's tag team titles. Like, I think, it would not have been a great look to not have your SmackDown Women's Championship defended on the show. So it was there. I don't think the result was ever in doubt. So like, what was your guys' fear level? Now, Matt, you already said in that opening match when it was like double spear and jackhammer, and he makes the cover. Like, I was just like, I think I actually said, because my wife was getting ready for bed, or she was in the kitchen, and I'm like, there's no fucking way they're doing this before they hit the 3 count, or before Drew kicked out, because I was terrified that was actually gonna happen. Like, were you guys scared as well?
I did. I was absolutely afraid. I thought they were going to pull the trigger.
And like, for me, I went into it predicting Like, I just was like, Goldberg's going to win. So, and I was still scared. I was scared that for once I was going to be right. Because like, on my scorecard, out of 221 possible points, I had 73.
That's
So
not
like,
good at those scorecards.
I'm not Dana thinks it's hilarious. Like,
have you ever broken triple digits on a scorecard?
I think I did the 1 year for like WrestleMania, but like, obviously WrestleMania
Like out of 400 points,
right? Like, no, I think the 1 year was like out of like 500, so I was still like, at like a 20%. Let's see here. Yeah, Scotty says poor Charlie on the pre-show with Rosenberg, JBL, King, and Booker. Yeah, I mean, JBL and King definitely. Devin gave the show an A. Scotty gives it an 89. Like he said last week, he said he would have laughed if Goldberg would have won. And see, that's why bad things happen, Scotty, because there's people that will laugh when WWE does bad things.
Did anyone check in on the New Age Insiders?
I haven't. I did see them tweet a few times, so I think they're okay. I think they were happy with the Royal Rumble match results.
But how'd they feel about Moldberg?
I didn't see any specific tweets about that, so I
don't think they tweeted about that.
That's the real reason they watched the show and they didn't say anything. That's crazy.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
But obviously, women's Royal Rumble match. Bianca Belair gets the win, goes almost wire to wire. Like, both Rumble matches, we saw the winners, one go wire to wire, one go number 3 through the end. But I really liked the way they did both Rumbles. I thought the women's was a little bit better. I mean, the men's, even though it's hard to or hard not to, but like, compare it to last year's. Like, last year's to me was just an all-time men's Royal Rumble match. So, but I am so happy, and I think we had all predicted it, that Bianca Belair is your Royal Rumble winner, because it's like, for as good as WWE has done with the women's division, and I mean, hell, it carried the majority of 2020, especially once the crowds went away. I mean, the women's on both brands were the shining stars. But like, I think the women's title picture, needs kind of, not, I don't know if reinvigorate is the right word, but it needs a fresh face. It needs something new. It needs something fresh. And like, the way they've been building up Bianca Belair to this moment has just been fantastic.
We mentioned it on Viewer's Choice, but Bianca Belair is the first black winner of the Royal Rumble since The Rock in 2000. And she is the second all time. So to not it's historical for many reasons. First solo African American to win the Royal Rumble. Not again, she sets another record in the Royal Rumble, this time lasting the longest, at like 53 minutes and some change. But also this is the first time WWE has really like pushed a like, and this is not a slight towards Sasha at all, but like Sasha is, when I see Sasha, I don't immediately think black. I think there's a mix there, and like Bianca is unapologetically like in herself black. And it's not not something that's to some super marketable, and WWE is leaning into it and going with it. And there's some praise to be said there. Like, they're letting her be her. And when we talk out of one side of our mouth with Bianca, the other side of our mouth has to go with the return of Naomi and how well she shined during the Rumble. Even the spots in which Bianca and Bianca and Naomi were together, doing the get back in the ring spot and them acknowledging, hey, we need to work together. And they realized it was bigger than that moment. It was for the rest. So kudos to that all the way.
Yeah.
It looked like Naomi was really glowing more than shining, though, Tim.
I see what you did there. Be thankful the Sea Stars weren't in the Rumble.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I don't think we have time for Mark to go down the Sea Stars.
We're running late. I better not.
But anybody else, any other thoughts on Bianca Belair's win?
To Tim's point, 47 minutes for Naomi is the second longest in the Rumble. So it goes 1-2 to Belair and Naomi. So the only thing that would have made it better is Brie Bella.
Don't make me mute you again.
If you think about it, last year Edge returned at the Royal Rumble, and last year was Bianca Belair's first Royal Rumble, and both of them won this year. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
in a good way.
It's kind of full circle moments for both of them in very different ways, which is great. Yes, Ryan.
Who saw Billie Kay standing out more than Peyton Royce? Is that a surprise to anybody else?
No. If you've been watching SmackDown at all, then it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Because this has kind of been like the Billie Kay story of, the last few weeks, with her on SmackDown, and it was hilarious. I loved it. I absolutely loved what she did and the way she, every single entrant headshot,
it's definitely going to go down, in at least for me, as one of the most memorable Rumble stretches for a participant. To me, it's up there when CM Punk was like third in the Rumble and was eliminating people left and right, and then was cutting promos until the next guy came down when he was a part of the new Nexus. It is right up there with that type of level of entertainment that goes a step above the Rumble. Like it was more than just the Royal Rumble at that point. It was really a coming out show for Billie Kay.
I was scared for Billie Kay. When Shotzi came out in her tank, I thought Billie was going to take a shot in the face with that big cannon.
Yeah, I mean it was scary.
That thing, it flies out of there.
It does. That giant Nerf rocket.
Just
Have
launch.
have any of you ever been hit with like a Nerf rocket or like a Nerf pellet?
That thing's like
It hums.
loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy at my work that has, I mean, Nerf rockets, Nerf machine guns. I mean, he's got like a full fleet of artillery that
I hope they're registered.
that he I won't divulge his name so he can't get in trouble. But I mean, we've had like Nerf battles at work, and I mean, you can like his stuff sounds like a jet engine taking off. Like he's definitely like modified him. So you'll just be sitting in a room and you'll hear like and then you just know to duck because them things just fire off. So yeah, I mean, it's not fun. It's not fun. Looking at like the last man standing match. And Scotty, I'll get to your question about Carlito. Obviously when we talk about the men's rumble. But yeah, as far as last man standing matches go, just this is probably like the best, at least that I can remember. These two guys absolutely killed it. Kevin Owens, and it's something I stumbled into on Tuesday that we'll talk about after we talk about the Rumble and the question of the week. But like, even the stuff with Heyman and his fat fingers trying to unlock Roman, like I'm not gonna let that take away from the match. Like, could Owens have come in and kicked Reigns to break the count or something? Sure. But like, it was a very small blip on what was a pretty damn good match.
Yeah, I don't think KO should be penalized for finding the best hiding spot ever in the game of hide and seek that was that last man standing. Like, and how many of us fat dudes feel for Paul Heyman in a suit on the ground with his little short, stubby, fat sausage fingers and that little key underneath some great, like, come on, like nobody nobody shopping at DXL is got anything to do with trying to free anyone from any sort of handcuffs in that position.
Well, and two, in that moment, we've all been like, when it starts to not go perfectly, there's that degree of like panic that sets in of like, I got to do this now, and just then it makes it even worse.
The only other time I can remember this on WWE television was remember when Mark Henry was trying to pull the cage door off of the steel cage on SmackDown to get in there. He's like, I'm so strong, I can rip this door off. And then he is literally standing there for like 90 seconds, which doesn't sound like a long time.
That's a long
time.
But
when you're just standing there like, it's forever.
Like when something's supposed to happen now, 90 seconds is an eternity.
Yes.
On any sort of like a live production, a TV production. Yeah, that's a long time. That is a long time.
The start of this podcast.
Oh my God. I felt like the start of this podcast was 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it was about 3.
Dead air is the worst. Dead space is the worst.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
the worst.
it's no good. And when there's things out of our control. So
I mean, the only thing we had said, Jim, I think you and I had talked about this, is really the only thing that could have happened is Kevin Owens could have just came and placed a kick on Reigns, restarting the referee count. And then that would just be the reason to have to restart the count. Other than that, the match I thought was flawless. I love the way they incorporated the environment. It's on my match of the year list. It's the first entry I have there. I thought it was fantastic.
All right.
Good. I'm fine.
Is that a sausage in your throat?
It was not. No, it's just an air bubble. I don't know what that was.
Any other thoughts for Last Man Standing? Then we look at the men's Royal Rumble. Obviously, we start out Edge and Randy Orton. The injury gimmick to Orton. Edge goes the full length, and ends up as your winner. he goes on to WrestleMania. Now, Scotty says here, he goes, why were people so happy that Carlito is back? He does nothing for him. Well, I mean, for the same reason that there's some people that were happy that Goldberg had a title shot and it wasn't for us. I mean, everybody likes
Carlito looks jacked, man.
Sure does.
Better shape than when he was last in the WWE.
Yeah, by a long shot. And I mean, he was even in better shape from his WWE run when we saw him in Lancaster, and he's even in better shape now. So, I mean, I think I missed a decent portion of Carlito's original run. Like, I think that was like during my not watching wrestling time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
wasn't he originally Caribbean Cool Carlito or something like that?
Carlito Caribbean Cool.
Yeah. Which is where like the music, the start of his music came from, right? Because he would spit the apple. So yeah, I mean it.
Wait, he was the one that spit apples? I didn't remember that was him.
That was him. Yeah, that was him.
Huh.
You know, like in the beginning of the song, I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
I wish we had a fun story about people getting spit on.
It's too bad we don't.
Or having to, or with apple. I don't know what it was. Apple cobbler, maybe.
Either way, I know that I as soon as I saw him, I immediately thought of the joke of the millennium where, Carlitos switched from apples to juice.
Boo.
Oh my God, it's a steroid joke. Leave me the F alone.
Oh,
I'm sorry you Cro-Magnon brains don't get it.
No, we got it. It was a bad joke.
It's a great joke.
A bad joke.
Carlito looks like he ate both Epico and Primo, and you mean to tell me that him switching to juice is a bad? Get out of here.
No, that's a good joke, Tim. It's just that I'm an idiot.
It's not a good joke, Jim.
It is. That's a funny joke. That's a funny joke.
It's a fine joke.
It's a fine joke. Thank you.
He was on Glow and he was jacked in Glow. It's not a good joke.
So he's just been on juice longer.
Right.
Tim's just trying to get to the core of the apple jokes here, guys.
See, thank you.
Jesus.
Now look, but this is on you, Tim.
I appreciate it. Don't be mad because you didn't get to say Shane McMahon today.
It's been a month, by the way.
Yeah, good.
1 month.
Brian, you did say it on Tuesday.
I did.
You did say it on Tuesday.
I did. I snuck it right in.
There's no reason to talk about him.
It was.
No.
He produced the Women's Rumble match.
With like 7 other people.
So he was part of it.
Okay.
There was 30
And I think it was the men's match, actually. And Jason Jordan was the other one. There was like 3 people, Tim. 3.
If you read it, it names 3 people, and then it has a nice 2-word phrase, and others. Meaning,
don't put a number 7 on it because you don't know it was 7. We're journalists here.
We're doing a journalism now?
11! It was 11. That's what it was. All right.
Why do you have an 11 sound clip?
Really?
I had that. I was using it on Huddle Up for a few times. It's the same board.
There's no need to cross brands here, Jim. Keep that shit on Tuesday.
Nah, man, there's plenty of reason. There's plenty of reason to cross-pollinate the Big Jim podcasting network.
Exactly.
No, that's totally fine, but keep your sound clips.
Big podcasts is what.
But no, I'm super happy Edge won. Tim, I'm sure you're elated. Like, we were with you last year when you were a tearful, crying mess when Edge returned. I'm sure you were similar this year when Christian returned.
Christian shocked me. Like, so I'll be honest. I adrenaline dumped after Bianca won. I had never been more excited for a Royal Rumble victory in my life than for Bianca to win. But I was watching the Rumble and Christian comes out and I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, it's Christian? And I saw Edge look up at Christian, and that's when I immediately lost it. I was done for. And then Rey Mysterio had to jump off and put his entire butt in Christian's face. and almost concussed the man again. And y'all need to quit laughing at the phrase adrenaline dump. It's an actual phrase.
That wasn't one.
That's not what we
What
were
did I
laughing.
say? What did I say?
You said that it shocked you.
Yeah.
And Ryan gave a hand gesture.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I didn't say anything then.
Just subtly, just.
Yeah, no.
It just. I just laughed at Jim laughing.
Yeah, I don't know. It just.
Y'all are nasty people.
And when Matt gets to chuckling, that's usually the icing on the cake for me.
That
Y'all are
is
disgusting individuals.
Yeah, we are.
So wait, did you said the tears came for Damian Priest or for Christian?
All right. We're gonna do this now. Is this?
Yeah, let's do this now. Let's do this now.
All right. I need the floor.
Go ahead.
I've hated every second of Damian Priest in my entire life. Period. End of story.
Is it because he's better at being what Baron Corbin was supposed to be?
No, because he's not Baron Corbin.
Right, he's better.
No, he's not better. He's different. I know that it's really easy to see two people who look alike, kinda, and think they're the same person. That's why Test never got a push, because he looked too much like Triple H. But Test
Damian
deserved a
didn't have
push.
the receding hairline like Baron did. So probably why he got.
Yeah, Damian Priest also didn't have to wear a helmet for a lot of time too, and pull that hair. But I hated Damian Priest. Hated him. Couldn't stand anything he did in NXT. It was completely unbelievable seeing him in NXT. Him doing his little spinny kicky stuff on little 4'7" Johnny Gargano and little 4'9" Leon Ruff and whatever. But when I tell you, when Damian Priest got into the Royal Rumble, he fits.
It's a new day.
I'm here for Damian Priest in the WWE.
He's a WWE superstar.
Yes.
He's not an NXT wrestler.
And they tried, but he tried. He did all his stuff, and like he needed to be a big guy in NXT, and he wasn't. He was tall man. Like, but I'm gonna do my spinny stuff. But now seeing him in the Rumble and him working with all the dudes in the Big Show, oh man, him and Kane, him and Kane, give me some more of that.
Right? I mean, I didn't necessarily need Kane, but at least it was more appropriate that he was in gimmick this time.
Right. And I just, so from here on out, the jury it's not completely closed on Damian Priest, but I'm definitely more positive than negative, which means all of my hatred now must shift from Damian Priest
poor Karrion Kross
to someone else. And it is going to Mr. I don't know what weight division I'm in, Karrion Kross.
Right.
How this guy single-handedly in one show challenged the Cruiserweight champion and the future NXT champion in a 15-minute time frame. Who are you, Karrion Kross?
Like
TikTok man, clock man. I don't want to hear it. Mr. Clickety Clock.
He's billed at 265.
He's going to cut weight.
Is anyone a Karrion Kross fan anyway?
I think there's a couple of people. I
meant on this show.
By show of hands, who's here for Karrion Kross without Scarlett? Without
out. I'm out.
Scarlett.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out.
All right.
He's the new Bob Roode. He has a cool entrance. That's all it is.
I can't wait. Did you guys see drunk Randy Orton trying to pick a fight with Karrion Kross? Man, Randy Orton got drunk on Monday and it started going off. And he challenged Karrion Kross. He's like, get Karrion Kross's big ass up here. I want to fight him. I'm like, Randy, you need to calm down. Are you fragile still? Like, Karrion Kross is a little hurty.
Yeah. I would But yeah, I don't understand how Karrion Kross is a cruiserweight. That doesn't connect with me.
Everyone in wrestling is either 5'10" or nearly 7 feet tall, and everybody in wrestling is either under 205 pounds, or they're 215, or they're 260.
Yeah. But
like there's no in betweens.
And he's 265. That's what he's built at.
What he's built at 265.
Woof.
Yeah,
that's what Damian Priest is built at too. Exactly 265.
I mean, Damian Priest has like 7 inches on Karrion.
But he's tall, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because Karrion Kross was definitely like almost eye to eye with Santos Escobar.
Yeah, which like I mean, don't like
Jim. He liked one of your tweets, Jim.
Yeah, like I think I said something about Santos
Escobar.
Oh, nice. I don't mind Escobar.
Yeah, no, I think like what they're doing with him in the cruiserweight title. I thought the cruiserweight title match last night was really, really good.
Who did he fight? I'm trying to remember who he fought.
Christ, I forget. I remembered one thing today. I'm not good for
Who did he wrestle?
Did you remember today? I thought the shrimp thing was yesterday.
No, that was definitely today. Don't confuse me, Matt. Come on now. Let me have this.
Kurt Stallion?
It was Stallion, yes.
That's the one, yeah. But like
that's Riddle's boy.
But yeah, like with the stare down, I was like, I mean, it made Escobar look great, but I'm like, yeah, Kross doesn't look that like big or intimidating in that moment. So but obviously we'll see where they go with it.
I feel like Karrion Kross has a lot of camera work, a lot of up angles, like starting at like his knees and his waist. This whole entrance is geared around looking up at Karrion Kross.
Oh, and it's like, you know, it's dramatic lighting and strobe light. Right. So like,
I mean, I think we shit on him enough, but yes, it's an up thing.
Yes.
Is Charlie still here? Is he stopped listening now?
I think he
because he's the only Karrion Kross fan I know.
I think he just destroyed his iPhone or something. Whatever.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did anybody notice that Keith Lee was not in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, Mia Yim tested positive for COVID.
Yeah,
right. And he was supposed to be the winner from what I read until that happened.
I didn't even so okay. Let me tell you where my brain went the last 45 seconds. We were talking about how not big Karrion Kross was and a lot of up angles. And then it made me think of another big dude who's not really a big dude in Keith Lee. He's thick man, but he's not big man. And then I was like,
big dude,
where's Keith Lee? Why wasn't Keith Lee in the Royal Rumble? And then I remembered that Skeezer, Mia Yim tested positive and they're bootsing. With all love and respect. It's comedy here. Mia Yim is a fantastic wrestler. She's, reckoning that Skeezer Reckoning came down with COVID, and she gave it to Mia Yim, who then might have given it to Keith Lee.
Right. Yeah, which he could. I mean, either way he has to quarantine.
Yeah.
So
man, that's stupid.
But yeah, because I saw a lot of people like on Sunday, and I don't think a lot of people because. Like, I mean, obviously the WWE is not, with the exception of Drew McIntyre, the WWE hasn't been like, you know, here's our COVID positive list. Here's our COVID quarantine list. You know, they can make a PSA out of the WWE champion. You know, wear your mask and, you know, all of that.
It's real.
Yeah, right.
Social distance, wear your mask.
Be a warrior and fight this. I know Tim loves the warrior, but
warrior, dude.
You know, so I think she had tweeted out that she had tested positive, and I don't think a lot of people realized it because I saw a lot of people on Sunday, you know, where's Keith Lee? Why didn't they even put Lee in the Rumble? And I responded to a few people and I just said, I think he has to quarantine because, you know, Mia Yim tested positive. They're like, oh, I didn't even know. So, you know, that unfortunately, I guess that kind of went fairly silently. And so there was probably a lot of confused people, which, you know, in that, I don't know, maybe they should have said, you know, Keith Lee suffered an injury, or they could have played something up as to why he wasn't there so that you didn't kind of leave your audience guessing. But like I said, I gave this one.
Was Keith Lee ever announced for the Rumble though? Like if he wasn't officially
No.
announced for the Rumble, you don't have to make that.
Well, that's
It's
true.
the Rumble. You don't have to make it.
True, but like, I don't know.
I honestly don't know. I didn't look at the list of people that had previously been confirmed.
We did.
So I don't know if he
We
was
talked-
ever one.
We talked about it on the show Thursday before the Rumble.
Tim, that was a whole week ago.
And when did Kofi become ineligible?
Kofi's been hurt.
He's been hurt? Okay, he just wasn't cleared
He
yet.
broke his jaw. I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah. And he's been out because like for a while, Xavier's been battling Retribution alone. This is the first time we've seen Kofi in a month, a little over a month, I think.
By the
which was-
way, that gear.
oh, the Brody Lee gear.
Good God.
Awesome.
On point.
And
like different versions of Brody Lee, Luke Harper, including Mr. Brody Lee. I don't know. I don't remember who had which version on their gear, but one of them was Dark Order, Mr. Brody Lee.
I think it was on the back of Xavier's vest.
You know, and you know, so that was cool. And they had like the backstage thing that you know, they were able to like recognize that. I thought was really cool as well. But yeah, and then I think I saw Big E tweet on either Sunday night or Monday that they are auctioning. They're going to be auctioning the gear off and giving it to, so like Feeding Rochester or something. It was something in Rochester, which is where Brody Lee was from, and it was a charity that he
Food
loved.
Bank.
Food Bank. So, yeah, that was super cool. So let's go around. We'll get to our question of the week in a second, but let's grade the show. Matt, you said A-. I gave it an A- on Tuesday. Ryan, do you remember what you gave it?
It also was an A-.
A-. Tim.
I'm gonna go with A-.
Okay. Mark? You said
I
solid
gotta
A.
be- Yeah, I got to give it a solid A. I'm going to be different. I'm not going to give it a minus.
But
Jim,
yeah,
we brought this up Tuesday. What could have been different that would have elevated it to an A+ show in your mind? Is it an entrance that didn't happen? Is it a match result where Carmella should have went over? Like what was it that
If Carmella's not in that match and Sasha has a better opponent,
that would have done it for you?
I mean, I think that there's wrestlers on the roster that can get more out of Sasha than Carmella. So that probably would have made it better because that, I mean, it was clearly the worst match of the night.
Yeah.
I do like the back and forth with the sommelier, but that's about it. Like beyond that, I didn't really care about the storyline. I had zero doubt that Sasha was winning because you're not going to set up a title at WrestleMania with fucking Carmella. Like, no offense to Carmella, but my God, she's awful.
Wow. How do you really feel, Matt?
Jim, you had said if Cameron came back in the Rumble, right? That's what would have elevated.
No, that's not what I said. That is certainly not what I said.
Matt and I are very similar, except we are on two different sides of the same conversation. I feel if Sasha doesn't want to work, she doesn't work. And if she doesn't want to work with Carmella, Sasha only has good matches with the horsewomen. It's Becky, it's Bayley, it's Charlotte, and other than that, Bayley doesn't show up. I can't wait to see what she does with Bianca.
I think she'll be fine. I think she's had good matches too with Naomi. Like I feel like there just has to be
someone who she's cool with and she's been in a stable with.
Not necessarily cool with, but like that's at least on her level. Like I don't want to keep shitting on Carmella, but I don't think it's there. Like I think that there's plenty of other people on the roster that can work enough that Sasha would at least give a shit. Because I do agree, she clearly just did not care at all about that feud. But I mean, I feel like she had a better match against the Sommelier than she did against any with Carmella. Like that match, I thought was decent.
She did. That match.
So,
yeah.
I think it's just more so like she does absolutely show if she's not into something, and that's a huge flaw on Sasha. but I think that's something that like you need to address and not like even like put her in with someone that can still work. Like I mean, Natty would be fine. I know I make my jokes, but she can still at least do enough in the ring and is enough of a name. I think Sasha gets up for that.
I don't know if she does. I've seen enough of Sasha to know, like, or I've seen enough to see that, like, she just doesn't really put much energy and effort into things that aren't with people. She like her stuff with Alexa Bliss wasn't all that great.
But she had a really good feud with Asuka too, and
because that's a person. It's like a person on her dream match list. She loves Japanese stuff.
We're still adding people to the list. Is my point. Like there are people on this roster that you can get something out of Sasha with.
Okay, well, everyone else was accounted for.
Haven't gone the route that like she does 4 moves and that's it. What is it like? Kick, Meteora, bank statement.
Does she do the knees in the corner anymore?
Yeah,
and that's number 4.
The frog splash.
I mean, how many people have like a shitload of moves in their arsenal?
Karrion Kross.
John Cena had the 5 moves.
Yeah, Cena had 5. He added a 6th one, I think, around like
throwing the stairs.
No, he did.
Was his 6?
He had a schoolboy towards the end.
7. He went up to 7 by the last time we saw him wrestle. That I mean, to add him that late in your career is impressive. But yeah, let's kind of close the book on the Royal Rumble. But obviously related to that, we have the 3 count question of the week, which we're pretty sure that we're gonna get Bianca Belair facing Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. I think that one. I mean, I wouldn't say it's 100% written in ink, but I think we're pretty sure that's where we're going. But with Edge, I think it's fairly open-ended right now. I think from social media, I've seen a lot of people that want to see Edge versus Roman Reigns, but I'm not 100% sure that that's where we're going. So, who would you like to see Edge face at WrestleMania? Does anybody want to kick us off?
I think that if we're going with current belt holders, that Roman makes the most sense. So I understand that logic. I mean, I could see them possibly having like, I don't know why they would, but like maybe Drew drops it to Randy. But at that point, that's such a tired feud that I don't want to see that one. Or else, we see a Miz cash in, like Edge versus Miz might be kind of cool. But again, it's not bringing people in, I don't think. So it's tough. I mean, of all the champions, I think I would want to see him face Reigns the most.
Okay. Ryan?
R-Truth.
You want to see him fight for the 24/7 7-Eleven?
He could cash it in.
He could.
No, I'm with, man, I don't know. It's crazy how I don't know. I don't see Roman Reigns as a viable option. I don't think Roman Reigns and his like head of the table thing really meshes at all with what Edge is doing. Drew McIntyre, just because they're on Raw, I didn't give any thought to Finn Balor until he showed up in NXT. And if the WWE wants that brand to succeed, that's how you get him on a WrestleMania card, and you do Edge versus Finn Balor.
I don't think they're going to go that route. But I mean, it would obviously give another high degree of shine to that brand on WrestleMania. We saw it last year with Charlotte and Rhea. But I didn't give a whole lot of thought to Drew, but then as I was working on stuff for Huddle Up and even for this, I was watching some old Elimination Chambers, and there was one back in 2011 where Drew and Edge, I don't know if they were in a match that night or so, and there was Edge the champion or something. Tim, you probably know this better than I do.
I just watched it last night.
Well, there we go.
It was 2011. Edge and Drew were in the Elimination Chamber together.
Okay. And I remember there was like a distinct like moment in the back where they had like a face-off, tense moment in a backstage segment. So you can draw back. Not saying that it's a huge monumental moment to build a feud upon, but you can dig back to stuff from back then. Because again, it's been 9 years since Edge has been around, so it wasn't long after that he had well, I guess it would have been that WrestleMania was his last one then. So I think it's going to be one of the main Raw or SmackDown. I think it's going to be WWE Championship or the Universal title. And honestly, I think right now I feel like I'm going to lean to the WWE Championship because I feel like Raw needs Edge more than SmackDown needs Edge. If I'm just being, if I'm just looking at it from that aspect, is like I feel like Monday Night Raw could use Edge as champion more than, because SmackDown seems to be working more than Raw feels like it's working. Tim or Mark, who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is that all right, Tim? Or are you upset?
Go for it.
So I'd really like to see Edge take on Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. I suspect he'll be champion by that time.
He might be.
I heard he's training with Spanky.
He's getting better. But for real, Roman Reigns and Edge would be my pick because they can start to build now. You can work Christian into the angle. You have Paul Heyman. I think it'd be great. And probably second choice would be Finn Balor, and McIntyre would be third. Not that any of them would be a bad choice, but I'd like to see Reigns and Edge.
Tim.
I'm actually all in on the Finn Balor train.
Wow.
NXT absolutely could use a shot in the arm with Edge. If you want NXT to be a respectable third brand, you got to treat it like a respectable third brand. And sending a WWE Hall of Fame multiple time champion to NXT, which happens to be the exact same brand his wife works for, and they can travel together and spend more time together, and they don't get on different schedules for their kids. Edge's promo sold it. Edge said the reason he came back from injury was watching NXT. And the one title he hasn't held is the NXT title. It is the exact same reason Charlotte Flair went after Rhea, even though Charlotte had been NXT champion before. But I think it's going to be Edge going to WrestleMania and challenging Finn Balor. And I think this is where we get Edge on the Giving Back tour. Like, he is going to put out some of the best matches of his entire career in NXT. Like, just think of, just without even saying them off the top of your head, you could think of 3 to 5 marquee matches that Edge could have with people that are still in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't even have to stretch that far. Like, there's pieces right now that are, you saw him in the ring with 2 of them. And then actually, and you saw him outside with a third, whether I like him or not, I can see money in Edge versus Karrion Kross.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, Edge is at the part where he's trying to work smarter, and he's trying to pass that information down to the next generation. Give him some time at the Capitol Wrestling Center. Have him come back to a big brand right before he's about to ride off into the sunset when the career's over, when the career's actually over. But I think it's Finn unless Christian has a play in something. Like, I don't know if Christian is formally done or not, but my money's going down on Finn Balor versus Edge for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania.
I think we had looked it up. That the belief anyway, and this is even kind of something that Christian had tweeted that he's kind of back, for a part-time schedule. So, I don't think it was like just for the Royal Rumble. Like, I don't think we're going to see him wrestle anything that resembles a full-time schedule by any stretch of the imagination. But I think we still will see Christian, in a match or two. And I would hope that, we get towards this summer, whatever title, if, Edge, and I do believe Edge wins. Like, quick go around the room. Does Edge win whatever title he's fighting for at WrestleMania? I say yes. Matt?
Yeah.
Mark?
Absolutely.
Tim?
No.
Ooh. Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. So like if for me, he wins, goes on a month, maybe a 2-month run, and then, we get closer to this summer, then we get an Edge and Christian run back together, and run at a tag team title. So that's kind of how I kind of look at it. Let's I'm not even going to run the commercial. Look, we're brought to you by Arena Eats, arenaeats.app. Head over there. At some point, we're going to be back in these arenas. We're going to be back in stadiums. We're going to be back going to concerts, wrestling shows, sporting events. And there's going to be a much better way to get food and drink when we get back to these live events. And that's with the Arena Eats app. You don't have to struggle with the decision to go to the bathroom or go to the concession line. Which line am I going to get stuck in? Or I don't want to miss this match, for Ryan, I don't want to miss. I've heard Cameron might be back this Monday on Raw, so I don't want to miss the match. I got to make sure I'm in my seat. Pull out the app, order it. It'll get delivered to your seat. So make sure you download the Arena Eats app for whenever. And there's places now that there's live events taking place, socially distanced. So arenaeats.app, check them out. Download the app, of course. Go to ngscsports.com, store.collarandelbowbrand.com. Use promo code 3count. And then, of course, whatamaneuver.net is our merchandise. And we will have, of course, new merchandise dropping on Monday. We'll be sure to post about that as well. Okay. Do we want to, because I'm going to cut one of these topics for this week. We can talk about either of them next week. But do we want to talk about the KO Mick Foley connection, or do we want to talk AEW and New Japan working together? I'll leave it to you guys.
I feel like they're both quick topics, quite frankly.
Like AEW.
Do we want to hit both of them? Because we want to make sure we have time for Know Your Bro.
Yeah, I think it's quick.
I think if
All right.
anything, Know Your Bro is the collapsible segment.
Absolutely not.
Nah, we are getting to Know Your Bro.
That's a hard no.
Well, okay. On Tuesday's show, when we were talking about the Last Man Standing match, I made, and it's not a direct comparison because I think in terms of wrestling ability in the ring, Kevin Owens is better. I think when you talk about some of the extreme to the extreme matches, Mick Foley is more extreme. At least to a degree. Like, I'm not discrediting what some of the things Kevin Owens did, like CZW, but I kind of made a comparison that Kevin Owens is almost like this generation's Mick Foley in a way, because he will literally put his body through just about anything for the sake of a great match, a great moment, and to get whoever he's working with over. If he has to jump off the WrestleMania sign, if he has to jump off, the forklift, the top of the forklift down through a table, like he's going to do it. And like, that's kind of like what Mick Foley always kind of did. And they're both bigger guys. And again, it's not a direct comparison, but I feel like in some sort of way, and Ryan, I know I kind of caught you off guard with the comparison on Tuesday, but like, can you guys see my thoughts on that? Like, I just feel like there's at least you can draw somewhat of similarities there. Cause like, unfortunately, as good as he is, Kevin Owens kind of just seems to, if he gets a title, it's a short title run. Mick Foley had a couple of short title runs. It just, I see some, and maybe that's kind of the idea in the back, is like, he's going to get himself over, title or not. But I just kind of have that feeling.
Yeah, there's so many similarities. They both wrestle in t-shirts. They are both not body guys. I think they both will take risks with their bodies for the entertainment of others. I feel though the business is so different then compared to now. Some of those like Japanese death matches we saw Mick Foley like really cutting his teeth in, the Cactus Jack character. I don't think we can draw a similarity of Cactus Jack to Kevin Owens that we would be able to as more of a Mankind Dude Love and a Kevin Owens. So I feel it's hard to, because the business has changed so much so quick.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Any thoughts on it?
Well, Kevin Owens has 2 ears yet too, doesn't he?
He does. At least I think he does. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time staring at the dude's ears, but I believe he still has both.
I don't think there'll ever be another hardcore wrestler like Cactus Jack was. It's just a different time, and I don't see it ever going back to that. But there are a lot of similarities with Cactus and Kevin, that's for sure. Wrestling style. Both of them are fans of the wrestling business. They've watched the tapes, the old school. You can really tell.
Matt or Tim?
So I think that the biggest similarity between Kevin Owens and Mick Foley is their willingness to give of their bodies in points of a wrestling match that they know need it. Kevin Owens, more than anyone else in the recent history of WWE, has done some of the craziest stuff consistently. Like, of course, Shane's always good for the crazy 9,000 foot bump off the top of the Hell in a Cell or something. But Kevin jumping off forklifts, running up the vert ramp, getting thrown off the Thunderdome multiple times. Like, Kevin Owens is always willing to just risk himself.
Yeah, and I think that's probably like what the connection was in my head, because I think about the number of pretty big spots like he took in the match on Sunday, and I'm like, he does that a lot. Like,
he has done it his entire career.
Yeah.
If anybody ever gets bored and wants to do some deep diving on Kevin Owens, go back and watch his. Now you'll have to pay for it, unfortunately, I think, unless you can find other means. But his stuff in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is nasty. His feud with Super Dragon is nuts. The stuff he did when he was a part of a group called Mount Rushmore with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, insane. His feud with Generico, even in Ring of Honor. If you watch the Ladder War with him and Generico, off the wall, crazy, insane stuff. And Kevin Owens is a unique breed of wrestler where he can do the brawling hardcore style and give you the wrestling classic. Both. And there's not many people that can do that anymore. Like, as long as Kevin's body can keep doing it, I'm here for it. Obviously, the older you get, people have heard the phrase bump card before.
Right.
You have a certain number. It's kind of like boxers and their punch number. How many times can you get knocked out before eventually you're slurring your words and you become punch drunk and you can't do anything else?
Right.
What's the number on KO? And I hope we're far, far away from that.
Oh, definitely.
But also, we need to be at the point in 2021 where we give people their flowers before they're dead. Like, we need to respect the people that are actually doing it now and give it to them now. Because if we wait too long, either they're going to do something so horrible that we have to erase them from history, or they're dead and they can't do it anymore. Appreciate them in the moment.
Yeah.
And Kevin is a mold breaker.
No doubt. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I can see it on the selling. I appreciate what Owens does for that, because I think that's kind of what makes his matches so memorable is just that he's willing and able to do that. I don't know that we'll ever see anyone get to the level that Foley did, but Owens is certainly close, and I'd say that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, it wasn't a definite, because there are, like I said, there are not glaring, but there are definite differences between Mick Foley and Kevin Owens. But it just something we were talking about the match on Sunday. It just kind of connected with me.
There's a clip real quick on YouTube. It's for one of the Kevin Owens, or I guess it was Steen before he signed with the WWE. One of his shoots about the Iron Man Championship when he dropped the belt to LuFisto, and it was at Combat Zone Wrestling, and it's just Kevin Owens retelling the story of the booker at the time, kind of going over the match with him, and Steen was there and Generico was there, and it's really funny. LuFisto's name comes up a couple times, but he said he was always willing to do the hardcore stuff, just not glass. So he does have some hardcore stuff under for sure, but check that out. It's a fun video, and just kind of gives you a bit maybe of behind the scenes of what it was like in CZW at that time.
Yeah, definitely. Then the other thing, obviously, before we get to know your bro, we've seen the AEW Impact partnership last night. Kenta came out at the end, attacked Jon Moxley at the end of AEW Dynamite, and now today word is that they've kind of put aside the differences, whatever was causing the rift to not work together between AEW and New Japan. That situation has been resolved. Also announced today, New Japan has a deal with Roku, with the Roku channel to have a weekly program on the Roku channel in the US, the UK, and Canada. New Japan content coming. I've never been shy that I'm not the biggest New Japan fan. We've gotten a couple of Wrestle Kingdoms, and as good as the wrestling is, just the way that their show is presented versus the way American sports entertainment is presented, it's a very different thing for me. Like, I can watch matches and appreciate matches, but I struggle to watch a whole show. Look, I'll say a similar thing to what I said when the Impact partnership with AEW came to be. Like, the more eyes that can get on more product and companies working together, it's not a bad thing. It is absolutely a great thing. It's a fun thing. My only fear, concern, thing I'm gonna kind of watch for is, over the last couple of weeks since the AEW Impact partnership, I feel like there's been a lot of focus on, and on both sides, on Impact's product of AEW guys when they show up there and vice versa. So when you have your feet in a lot of waters, you still want to make sure you kind of protect your own house. And the AEW has a big roster in and of itself that I feel like they have a hard time featuring a lot of players besides their 37 match marathons on AEW Dark. But so I and obviously it's going to be front loaded as a deal presents itself new. And I think some of that will settle back, but I just hope that it's not a negative thing for some of the guys on the AEW roster, that it's a good thing for the company, but I don't want it to be a bad thing for some superstars that we're kind of on the rise, like Scorpio Sky. I don't know if he's hurt or anything, because I did go a couple weeks, but I don't think he's been seen on AEW TV in a little while here. So, you just gotta, like I said, protect your own house. But I like the partnership.
Two things. Shocked you said Kenta and not Hideo Itami. That blew me away. And I forget what the second one was already. Moxley is the IWGP United States champion. I think to work around that, they had to figure something out. So hopefully a rising tide raises all ships. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah. Matt, Mark, Tim, any thoughts?
I mean, I think it's early. We'll see where it goes, but I think these partnerships, I don't see them as a bad thing ever, just because it's getting more eyes on different products. I understand the concern you have of what it does to storylines, but we've seen that before with WWE, where too many stars on the roster, people get pushed aside. So good wrestlers will find a place to wrestle, and we'll get to watch them, and it'll work itself out.
Mark?
I like it a lot. More eyes on the wrestling, like you said. I'm not a huge New Japan fan. I do watch it from time to time, but this will definitely get my interest in that company again, that's for sure. So I'm anxious to see where it goes, but on the same hand, what you said, kind of concerned or about some of the AEW almost originals, you could say. See what happens to them. Hopefully they still get the television time and the exposure, but it's definitely going to be overshadowed by some of the New Japan wrestlers now. But we'll see what happens. I really do like the partnership. I think it'll be a positive thing.
Tim?
I don't see where this can be an actual negative. Especially with AEW wanting to do another hour of television somewhere down the road, they're going to have another outlet to showcase more talent. It may not be on Dynamite, but they will have that opportunity. I don't see that the partnership's going to be very often, per se. Like, I don't think we're going to be inundated with New Japan stars. Like, quite frankly, the only people on Impact that have come over to AEW has been the Good Brothers. And the only one from New Japan is Kenta at this point. I think this is more opening the door for the future and sending people over to Japan who have that want or desire, like Kenny Omega, like the Young Bucks probably, like John Moxley. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a way for that. And also Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston has wanted to wrestle in New Japan forever. And now that door is wide open. With the ROKU deal too, I mean, it's a big win for wrestling across the board. ROKU's not the only application that's getting more wrestling on it. Free Pluto TV just announced their pro wrestling channel, and included in that is a partnership with independentwrestling.tv, where some content from Beyond Wrestling and a couple other major independents in the world or in the United States today are going to be featured on that pro wrestling channel, which is free to anyone on go to pluto.tv. You can watch it on your browser. You can go to any other application as well and watch that live. So I'm telling you, technology is a great thing for wrestling. And so too is the partnership with AEW and New Japan.
Yeah, and like I said, like it's not. I'm not automatically saying like they're gonna forget about guys. It's just one thing that I thought today, because it's been in the last month and a half that you've had 2 partnerships with other companies that I'm just like, I just hope that it doesn't have a negative impact on certain talent. But yeah, good things all around. I think it's a great deal. And honestly, right now, unless probably you have talent that's New Japan talent that's in the country, or like there's probably not a whole lot of international travel happening at the moment. So that may be a thing that hinders, a free flowing market, if you will, right now. So, but yeah, great deal for both companies. And now, Tim, I guess we should just turn it over to you.
Shortly, you can turn it over to me. It is time once again to know your bro. This time, it's not a slugfest, if you will, between 2 best friends. No. It's absolutely a slugfest between the 2 people who probably know each other the least in Matt and Mark. So as I'm getting the scoreboard set up.
So to recap, the first one was with Ryan and I. I think Ryan beat me 4-2.
Mopped the floor with you.
So I think like the challenge that we laid out was, can Matt and Mark combined beat the total? Was it the combined score of both?
I feel like Matt threw up this challenge himself.
I did. I said that Mark and I would get more correct answers combined than you and Jim did. And actually, that challenge was laid down on the premise that Ryan would be the one to drag the team down. So it was actually Jim.
Shocking.
Yeah. I sucked at that one. That
was the biggest upset of the year.
I'm an idiot.
If anyone just saw me freak out, that was because I thought a bug crawled into my flip-flop.
Ew.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, oh God, there was something crawling in here.
Oh, I just saw it on the playback. That's the worst. I was because I fucked up my back again standing up yesterday.
Did you break it? You brought it up twice now.
Yeah, really.
He raked my back. Yeah, no, he didn't literally rake it.
What I think it is, I think I broke it.
I broke my back.
It was
spinal.
Thank you.
So I was like laying on the floor, just laying on a flat surface, and I was listening to music, and I thought I felt something crawl in my ear under my headphones. And I freaked out. It was just one of those moments. But Tim, I turn it back to you.
Yeah, so Know Your Bro is played much like the classic Newlywed game, where I've asked Matt and Mark the exact same 10 questions. And they are going to try to guess what their bro said about the answer. So, for an example, if I were to ask them, what is your favorite eating establishment that has service from BJJ? They would say Night and Day.
Night and Day Diner.
That's right.
Absolutely. Beautiful Night and Day Diner.
And that, my friends, is Know Your Bro.
The
So,
scenery's as good as the food.
yes, sir. So,
You got that right.
we will alternate between Matt and Mark in answering the questions. Whoever has the most points at the end of 10 questions wins the whole game and bragging rights as to who knows each other best. Matt, we will start with you. Question number 1. Who did Mark say was his least favorite wrestler of all time?
I honestly had no clue. This was the one that kind of threw me the most, just because Mark seems to have random favorite wrestlers in general. So I went with what I did recall Mark at one time saying he didn't understand the point of the gimmick. So I went with the gobbledygooker.
Mark, is that the correct answer?
My least favorite. No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. My least favorite. Does anybody else want to take a guess?
Cowboy Bob Orton.
Oh, you're close.
Ashton Booger.
No, that's a good one too. That's good. My least favorite goes way back to a live event I was at when Sheamus got a title shot against John Cena. I do not like Sheamus. I haven't liked him since that day.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
So, Mark, same question to you. Who is Matt's least favorite wrestler of all time?
Well, I think this one's pretty easy. And just for this game, I've been creeping on Matt's Instagram just the last few days, just so I think I know Matt pretty well. So I'm confident in this answer. Cue it up, Jim. It's Shane McMahon.
Matt, is the correct answer Shane McMahon?
The correct answer is not Shane McMahon.
Ooh.
Mainly because I don't consider Shane McMahon a wrestler.
Ouch.
That's
the actual answer is Sheamus. Nothing for me.
We both hate Sheamus.
It's tied 0-0. We're starting with Mark. Mark, or actually we started with Mark. We're going to Matt. Matt, what would you actually hold on? Who did we start with?
No, we started with Matt.
Okay, we're going to Mark. Mark, what did Matt say was his favorite wrestling moment of all time?
Favorite wrestling moment. I'm pretty sure I know who Matt's favorite wrestler. I think we talked about this a while ago on one of the podcasts here. I'm reasonably certain his favorite wrestler, which would lead to the favorite moment, would be Eddie Guerrero. And if I remember, one of the podcasts we did, it was a WrestleMania 20, I think it was, with Eddie Guerrero. That was his favorite moment, if I remember correctly.
Matt, is that right?
The moment is correct. My favorite wrestling moment is Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 20. Not my favorite wrestler. That's Shawn Michaels still, but Shawn Michaels seems to always lose at WrestleMania, so that's my favorite WrestleMania moment.
Well, God damn it.
Matt, same question for you. What's Mark's favorite wrestling moment of all time?
So I know enough about Mark that I think Mark's like the wrestling historian of the group. And I think that his favorite moment would be one that's huge in history. So it'd have to be Andre getting body slammed by Hogan.
Mark, is that correct?
That is correct. I think I mentioned that a few times on the show. That's absolutely right.
All right, it is tied
I was
1-1.
just a little intern when I saw that happen. I was hooked ever since.
Tied up 1-1. Question number 3, back to Matt. Matt, if Mark could be stranded anywhere in the world for 24 hours, where would he choose?
This was the one I felt so confident about start of the show. It would be Hershey Park.
Mark, is that correct?
That's correct. Absolutely. I wouldn't want to leave. I'd be there for 48 hours if I could.
Mark,
absolutely.
Mark, same question to you. If Matt could be stranded anywhere in the world for 24 hours, where would he choose?
See, this goes back to some creeping and just posting stuff I see. I know Matt is a big movie fan, especially Disney movies. So I'm thinking, I don't know if it's, I'm just going to say Disney in general. I don't know if it'd be a Disney World. I don't know if you prefer Florida or California, but something Disney related. So I'll say Disney.
If you had to pick between the two, Disneyland or Disney World, which would you choose?
I'll go with World.
Matt, is it Disney World?
It's Disney World. That's correct.
Oh, shoot.
Jeez, look at that.
That's pretty good.
It's 2-2 through question 3. Moving on to question 5.
So both of us already tied Jim's total.
Yes,
we're just
that's
getting
correct.
started.
That is correct.
Mark, what did Matt say was his spirit animal?
Sasha Banks.
I've been once again creeping on the IG, and I know the only animal I can possibly think of, because I know Matt's a dog lover because he's got 2 beautiful dogs. I don't ever remember him talking about any other kind of animal, so I'm gonna just have to go with I'm gonna say a dog, and that's a complete guess.
Matt, is it a dog?
That's correct. I'm like a big animal guy in general, so I own dogs, so I like them.
Matt likes dogs now. It's exciting.
Matt, same question to you. What is Mark's spirit animal?
This was one of the other ones I was dead certain on going in, just because he posted about it all the time on his Facebook when Hershey's Zoo America got rid of the Swift Fox. So I feel like the Swift Fox would be Mark's spirit animal.
Mark, is that right?
That is correct. The Swift Fox used to be at the Hershey's Zoo America, even though he said he was my spirit animal. His name was Chuck. Then they shipped him off to a zoo in Brandywine, Delaware, and I drove to Brandywine, Delaware one morning to see him, and he was sleeping.
Do you write him? Apparently, you know his address. Like, do you have conjugal visits with Chuck?
Not yet, but I'd like to. They sent him down there.
Calm down, Chase.
Let's change it right quick. Hey, before you say anything else.
Yeah,
It's like talking about how you're stealing television. Question 5. Matt, if Mark could where could Mark spend an entire paycheck?
This one was also tough for me because all the stores that Mark talks about are like no longer in existence, like Kmart, KB Toys. So I will say Mark can spend his paycheck at Roots.
Mark, is that correct?
I'm trying to remember what I told you to. I think I did say Roots.
No, you said the Tatted Toy Guys.
Oh, that's right. You never get that one.
What
Very
the
local.
hell is that?
I was trying to remember what I said because I didn't know Roots would be an
Is that
establishment.
is that new toy store in E-Town I've seen you post about?
Yeah, actually, I'll give them a quick plug because they're really nice guys. Right here in beautiful Elizabethtown, they have a lot of vintage toys and a few new, but mostly vintage. They're super nice guys. They're on Facebook, Tatted Toy Guys. Seriously, check them out if you're looking for any kind of 80s toys or 90s toys. They've got them there. Super nice guys. They just opened a candy shop here in good old Elizabethtown too. But that's exactly what it was. I remember now that when you said that, I went in there last time, and I think I even told them I could spend my whole paycheck in here, so I had to leave.
Doc, you didn't get that one, Matt.
Yeah.
That's
Mark,
a tough one. I threw a curveball. I'm sorry.
Mark, where could Matt spend his entire paycheck?
This one, now I thought about this once again because I know Matt's a big fan of alcohol, so well, of beer. So I think you probably blow your paycheck at an establishment with alcohol or beer sales. So not necessarily a stage store, but I guess a beer store. At the beer store.
Matt, is that right?
I did say beer distributor.
He did.
I do love my craft.
He did.
Store distributor. I don't drink.
So,
yeah, I was gonna say you wouldn't know necessarily the correct terminologies.
Just so you know,
Yeah, we know. I'm keeping tally.
They're halfway done.
We're
they're at 7.
Yep, they beat us.
Yeah,
7.
Mark.
You have a sound clip of 7, Jim.
I don't. I do not have a sound clip of 7.
You can get one from the Little Rascals movie.
Okay.
Where they're trying to read off their bank account number.
What's in the box?
Question 6. Mark. Who did Matt say he would want him to play him in a movie?
Let's see. It's got to be Dwayne Johnson. I see the resemblance.
Matt.
Well, thank you, but no, I did not pick Dwayne Johnson.
It was not Dwayne Johnson.
Chose Adam Scott from Parks and Rec.
I can see that.
I would have said Antonio Banderas.
You guys are too kind.
Antonio. Mark or Matt, same question to you. Who did Mark say he would want to play him in a movie?
So my guess is just solely based on my knowledge that Mark loves ET. So I'm going to say Peter Coyote from ET.
I should have said that.
Is incorrect. Mark said Tom Hanks.
All right.
Tom Hanks.
Okay.
I was actually also thinking Richard Karn because of the beard.
I can absolutely see Richard Karn
for sure.
That's probably more close to yeah.
Question 7. Matt, what is Mark's favorite TV show?
90 Day Fiance.
There's no doubt about it. Ring that bell.
Yep. That's simple.
Mark, what is Matt's favorite TV show? And he has said it on the podcast within the last month.
I know Matt's talked about several television shows. I'm going to say The Office.
If we were playing with his wife, that would be the answer. But he said Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck. On to question number 8. Mark, what is Matt's favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
It's I think it's we've been to the diners. I think you're drinking tea tonight, just iced tea.
Matt?
I'm drinking iced tea every night.
Iced tea.
That's right.
Or lemonade. It's iced tea. Read the sign.
Matt, same question to you. What is Mark's favorite non-alcoholic drink?
I feel good about this one too because he posts pictures of it all the time on his Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to say Mark is a milkshake fan.
Mark, is that the right answer?
My favorite non-alcohol. You know what? I said unsweetened iced tea because the milkshakes get a little expensive. But looking at it now, I probably should have said milkshakes.
Well, you can't change it. The answers were hermetically sealed and sent to the firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
That was my bad, Matt. I dropped the ball.
I would have went with unsweetened tea. We've been to the diner and Haas's enough.
Yeah,
I should have known that.
Milkshakes are legit, though. That's a really good answer.
Hey, we're up to
That's fantastic.
We're up to 9 total points, 5-4 in favor of Mark. Going into question 9, Matt, Mark's at the movies. What's his go-to snack?
Well, I know Mark is a Hershey's fan, and I'm still just basing this off of the ET love. I'm going with the Reese's Pieces.
Mark?
You got it. I said Reese's Pieces.
I knew he wasn't eating whatchamacallits at the movies, so I had to go with something that was bite-sized.
Yeah, you can't get Reese's Pieces in the box at the movie theater, so I had to go with that. But I do like them a lot.
Mark, same question to you. Matt's at the movies. What's his go-to snack?
I think this is something else we talked about. I know Matt's a huge movie guy, and I'm pretty sure this came up. It was just regular popcorn. I think you would say, because that's a staple of going to the movies.
Yeah, I'm savory over sweet every day. Give me popcorn.
That's right.
Popcorn.
It is 6-5.
I love it. I know, Matt.
11 total points. Going into the final question. Matt, what is the first thing that Mark would buy if he won the lottery?
So initially I thought that Mark would buy Miriam's Pies so he could rename it. But then I thought, why stop there? And let's just have Mark buy Roots.
Mark, is he right?
I recently posted about that. I think it was last week.
Unreal.
That when they had the Mega Millions, it was over $1 billion. That the first thing I was going to do is buy Roots Market. So Matt's absolutely right.
Where's the ding?
I already dinged.
There it is. I hear the ding now. Last question for Mark. It's tied 6-6. This could do it and win. Matt just hit the big lotto bucks. What's he buying first?
The heck would Matt buy? Let's see. It's probably an elusive pop out there that he would buy.
Is it an elusive pop, Matt?
Good guess, but I need a car right now more than anything. So a new car is what I would spend that money on.
So, for the folks at home that don't know,
tap the count.
It's 6-6. You know what that means? Ladies and gentlemen, they both win. Know your bro.
Welcome to the winner's side, guys.
I'll accept the tie in that sense. I think the overall goal was accomplished here.
I was going to say the real competition was beating Ryan and my score, which you guys.
How long have you guys known each other for real now? Like it's been less than 5 years?
Yeah,
no, I think it was more. I think it was more than that. That was more than 5.
Probably a little after when 3 Count started. So
we're coming up on 7 years for the show. So
okay.
I bet it's been 6 to maybe 6 to 7 years.
6-ish.
6-ish, because we've been to wrestling events and wedding receptions and diners.
Right.
And, yeah, we've been.
We're both at Adam and Caitlin's wedding.
It's at least been 3 Christmases now.
Yeah.
So 2015-ish, 20, yeah. And Jim, we've known each other since middle school.
Yeah, that sounds about
right. Is that 2000
now,
maybe?
I'll ask.
You just don't pay attention.
I'll ask this: of the questions I just asked them, how confident do you guys think you would be if you took off
after 2 weeks ago? Not. I'm not.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. I didn't want there to be any.
Give us one of the new ones. Just give us one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
one of the new ones. If you guys could be stranded anywhere for 24 hours,
Jim would be wanted at his house.
No, I would not be at my house.
Okay, see, I was wrong.
Ryan would be at the beach.
That's fair. Where would you be?
I would say the beach.
Oh, okay.
I
I
would be
didn't know
stranded
that.
somewhere for 24 hours. I mean, right now, yeah, my house.
Oh, that's fair. Recency bias.
When we're not in a global pandemic, I would not pick my house.
You tan really well, Jim.
A Pobo Glamdemic. Is that what
Okay. Well,
we're shit people, and
I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst person of the group. I have proven. Just 2 items in the news and rumor roundup this week, and then we're going to get out of here. It was announced this week that Major League Baseball's regular season will start on time, with opening day taking place on April 1st. Of course, the WWE Thunderdome currently resides at Tropicana Field, home of Major League Baseball's Tampa Bay Rays. This will, of course, likely mean that the Thunderdome will have to move out of its current residency, probably sometime in March, for Tampa Bay to get back and settled in for preseason and whatnot. Also, during the quarterly earnings report today, actually this evening, I think it was WWE's CFO said that the company is not planning any ticketed shows, of course, the exception being WrestleMania, until the second half of 2021 at the very soonest. I would be very surprised if we see anything. My guess is the next one after Mania will be SummerSlam. I don't think like Raws and SmackDowns will see ticketed at least until the fall. I know Ryan, I know you're disappointed, but the Thunderdome will remain here for a while. And then my other one, speaking to Sports Illustrated this week, John Cena said that fans should not expect him to make any sort of a return at WrestleMania due to filming of the HBO Max series Peacemaker. He said, currently I'm in Vancouver shooting Peacemaker. Given the quarantine regulations, if I were to leave Canada upon return, I would have to quarantine for another 2 weeks. Essentially, that would shut production down. Strictly based on the letter of the law right now, there's no logistical way I can be there. We film from now until July. Cena did point out the irony that in the fact that he'll miss WrestleMania due to his acting career obligations, given how openly critical he was of part-time wrestlers, namely Dwayne Johnson, during the prime of John Cena's career. He has appeared in some capacity at every WrestleMania since 2003. So likely no Cena at WrestleMania this year. You guys got anything else?
I think we do see Cena this year. You can put him in a cinematic match and tape that shit in the Great White North.
Or you can just like a cameo. Hey guys, it's me, John Cena.
Yeah, I could see a cameo thing. I think maybe it was more he won't be appearing live. I mean, of course, last year they did the Firefly Funhouse match, but he's been at every WrestleMania, so he will not be at Mania this year.
Maybe they could just film vignettes where he's like, oh, I don't have an opponent, guys.
Oh man, I'm wearing
We've
full
never
length.
done that before.
I'm wearing full length jeans at WrestleMania. Who'd have thought?
What an asshole.
Yeah, I know, right?
Charlie says, do you think we'll get a match with Cena and Shane? I mean, it might be one of the best matches of all time.
So good.
Anything else, or we're gonna wrap up? Let's call it. All right. Let's go around the room. Tim, got anything to plug?
Of course I do, Big Jim. If you're not hearing me on, actually, let me run that back. At Not the Tool Man across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, if you care. TikTok, but I don't TikTok. If you find funny TikToks and you want to send them to me, it's at Not the Tool Man. I watch TikToks, but that's it. If you're not hearing me on 3 Count Thursday, you can hear me on a couple other podcasts on the soon-to-be-named network. Or actually, one's on the soon-to-be-named network, Final Wrestling Place, where we break down the nouns of professional wrestling, the who, what, where, or not, that's the thinking words, the persons, places, things, and ideas of the world of wrestling. Assign them red points and green points, either put them in the good place or the bad place. Last week, we did The Undertaker, and this week, we're doing Shawn Michaels. But if I'm not doing that, I'm doing instant pay-per-view recaps with my good buddy and podcast partner Marcus for Viewer's Choice. It's a podcast you can catch on the North-South Connection. I'm at VC on North-South on Twitter. We broke down Royal Rumble 2021, and now we are going to break down NXT Vengeance Day. I think that's the name of it. On Valentine's Day. It's a good time, good fun. And I'm going to plug the other podcast that Jim does, because he rarely ever does it. But the Big Podcast Network, I've named it. It's the Big Podcast Network. 3 Count Thursday. Huddle up and discussions with a nobody. I'm waiting for discussions with a nobody to come back. I want more of that monologue talk.
Yeah, I dropped one last week. Yeah, well, I'll try. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get a little more frequent on that one.
Yeah, I dig it. So check that out. And thank you guys for your time. You guys could be anywhere else in the world, and you decided to stick with us through thick and thin this evening. So thank you guys so much for that.
Matt, Woman of the Week this week?
Woman of the Week this week is Nevaeh Chantel from Monster Factory and other Philly, Jersey-based wrestling promotions. So give her a follow. You can see her on our Instagram page at 3 Count Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at 3CT, the letter A, Philly as in Philadelphia, the number 8. So 3CT affiliate. Otherwise, just make sure you're following all the Women of the Week that we post. Every time you like their post, that counts as a vote for them in the Woman of the Year competition. End of the year, we'll announce who it was. Top 3 vote getters. We make a donation to the charity of their choosing. So just make sure you're liking, following them, and following us.
Intern Mark, got anything?
Yeah, I got 2 things here. I'm going to check out, Tim talked about it on Pluto TV. Pluto is a free app. Go in there and find that indie wrestling channel. It's great. I was watching it today. This evening, they had some great women's matches on there. Our friend of the show, Vanity, was on there. Jordan Grace, Awesome Kong, even the Sea Stars were on there. So check that out. It's free if you like wrestling. And I'll give a shout out again to the guys right up here in E-Town, Tatted Toy Guys. Check them out on Facebook if you guys like vintage toys. They've got they got a little bit of everything there, and it's changing every day. And they're some really nice guys, a great addition to the community here in Elizabethtown.
Very good. Ryan, got anything? Is that it? Good. Good. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports. But make sure you're following the show at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Like I said, our merchandise store is, of course, at whatamaneuver.net. We will have new merchandise line dropping on Monday. It is the
I'm a sausage guy.
Shirts, ladies' shirts, unisex shirts, sweatshirts, kids' shirts, onesies. They're all going to be there. Check it out on Monday. Store.collarandelbowbrand.com. Use promo code 3count for 10% off your order. Go to 3countthursday.com. And you'll hear from our sponsor, Arena Eats. And of course, our home network is NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.
Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?